Hey everyone, this is Yasarian. Welcome back to part 2 of the TimeSplitters 2 modding guide. Last time we covered the basics of modding and doing some simple changes to weapons. This time around we'll be doing some more complex stuff, and in the first example we'll be building off of the change we made to the silenced pistol to make it an automatic weapon. But before I start with that, I want to show you guys a quick picture of something. This is the offset search option in HXD. I mentioned it last time, and I used it extensively to make changes, but the recording software I'm using didn't pick it up, so I wanted to show you a clear-cut example of what it looks like. Last time I mentioned it in text as well, how you could access it. But to get to it, you just go into HXD, you click search, then you click go to, and it'll come up. And from there you enter in whatever value you need to get to, starting with 2 zeros most of the time. So, start off with this one. We're going to be handling some more complex aspects of weapon modding. In this case, we'll be making the silenced pistol into a full auto weapon that is less accurate. And to start off with that, we're going to pull up the ISO value for the silenced pistol, as like before. Go into the hex calculator, paste in the regular ISO value for it. Then we're going to scroll over. What we're looking for is the fire rate. There's two types, semi-auto and full auto. Most of the time for the pistols, they shoot faster semi-auto, like when you're jamming on the trigger, than full auto, when you're just holding down the trigger. But in this case, we're going to make it identical. So we're going to make it the S47's value, which is 8. And it's a pretty fast fire rate. There are faster guns, like the Tommy gun and SBP 90, but we're not trying to make this into an insanely powerful gun. We're just trying to make it into like a personal defense weapon of some kind. So you're going to take the value I have here, which is the rate of fire, and you're going to paste it into HXD. Once you have HXD up, what you're going to want to do is punch in that value once again, in this case with the offset search, and you're going to go to rate of fire semi-auto, which in this case is 0.0000001E. The last two digits are the ones we're concerned about. That governs how fast the gun will fire. So we're going to make this 0.8, and the one immediately next to it is the full auto fire rate when you're holding down the trigger. You're also going to make that 0.8. Now, we could look up the alternate firing speed for semi-auto and full auto, because we'll need to change that too. But here's a bit of a time-saving trick that can help out with simplifying things. This is one of the guns where the primary and secondary fire are identical. So, in this case, if we scroll down, right around here, you'll see the same values entered. This is the secondary fire, the alternate fires, semi-auto and full auto fire rate. 1E and 2.0. So we're going to change those as well. And they'll be located right below where the several lines down from where the primary fire one is. This goes for a lot of the same values too for it. It can be a handy trick as long as you know what you're looking for to save time and just take care of the same value. Now, and for this next part, we don't want the gun to fire fully accurate. We want it to have some spread, because some weapons like the pistols, they will turn perfectly accurate when you aim them. So we're going to try to undo that for the silenced pistol. Other pistols and some automatics have this too. What you're going to look at are the aim flags, which is 0060. Zero on the aim flag minimizes spread, as does 1. 2 makes it so that aiming doesn't affect the accuracy. So like when you have the crosshair down, it'll just have the same accuracy no matter what. The shotguns do this, and some other guns do it. So what we're going to do is pull up the hex calculator again, make it load up 60 as the value. We're going to copy this result, we're going to paste it into HXD. So now we got HXD up, we're going to go to this new value, paste it into the offset search, and right here is where the aim flag is governed. It's 0, 0 now, so we're going to make it 0, 2. So when you have the crosshair out, the pistol will not get any more accurate. And this will be good for making sure that it's balanced, because it's still pretty powerful. It's automatic, got a big magazine size, but it isn't as accurate as it could be. So we're going to save these changes. It's creating a backup right now, so that'll take a bit of time. And then we're going to change the name of the gun. Names are all governed by, like, there's a big line of text that has all the names of ammo and guns and other stuff. Some of the text in TimeSplitters 2 is duplicated. I'm not sure why, but like you can find an identical copy of those same things. It's important to figure out what is and isn't affected. But sometimes I've had to go back and edit mods while working on them to find the correct line of text. So you're going to hit Control F, you're going to go to Find Text String, then you're going to put Silence Pistol down. You're going to set the search direction to All, and then you're going to hit Search All. It's going to take a bit of time to search, and in this case, it has pulled up Silence Pistol times 2. All of these gun names are stored here, along with some stuff that didn't make the final cut, like assault rifle ammo. Those unused lines can be handy. We're gonna go into that another time, but for right now, we're gonna change the name of the Silence Pistol. We're gonna call it the Suppressed SMG. Now, the name of your gun doesn't have to use all of the spaces that the game provides, but like the only difference is that it'll appear slightly off center in the map maker select screen, but you can't go over the amount that's given. If you do that, it'll mess with the way everything's formatted for the gun names. There's a trick for getting around that with using the unused text or other text strings, but we'll cover that another time. So we're gonna make this the Suppressed SMG times 2. So now we have renamed the Silence Pistol. We're going to save that. And then, once that's done, we're going to do one more thing with weapons. In this case, we're going to edit the damage ID. Now, the damage ID affects how guns deal damage. And I know that's kind of a given, but like, there are different ways the game handles damage. Like, in story mode, when an enemy's attacking you, when you're attacking an enemy in story mode, and in arcade as well. It also affects damage over distance, so some guns can deal more damage the farther they go, some will deal less, like the shotguns. So what we're going to do right now is a simple damage ID change, because you can totally change the values for a damage ID and make the guns there deal different damage. Like the pistols, the Tommy gun, all that, they deal all the same damage. So in this case, we're going to do something simple. We're going to take the brick, its damage ID, and give it the damage ID of the charged laser gun, which is one of the strongest ones, and it also deals greater distance over... it deals greater damage over distance. So, in gun stats, you'll find that the brick has the damage ID of 7, and the charged laser gun has a damage ID of 9. We're going to go into gun stats, scroll down to the brick, copy that value, paste it into the hex calculator, and then we're going to look for damage ID. That's further down. That's about C8. Primary fire has the damage ID of C8. Paste it in here, get a new value, copy it, and then we're going to put it into HXD. Once you've got HXD up again, go into offset search, plug in that new value you've got. We're going to be taken right here. So this is the damage ID of the brick. It's at 7, which is about like 0.5 damage out of like 0.8, or 0.5 damage out of 8 on headshots and so on and so forth. It's not bad, but this will, making it 9 will really boost its power. It'll make it so that not only does it deal a ton of damage, but it also gets stronger the further it goes. And if you want to speed things up, you could do that same trick from before, where you go down and look for where 0007 is. That's not the actual value name, but you know what I mean. But in this case, we're going to look it up normally, just so it's easier to find for future reference. So we're looking for the alt fire's damage ID. It's the same on, well, the brick throws a little farther in alt fire, but it deals the same damage either way. So we're going to scroll over, and 0178 is the alt fire damage ID. We're going to paste it in, get this new value, copy it into HXD, as always. Alright, now that HXD is up, get the new value in, paste it. So there is the alternate fire damage ID. We're going to make that 9 as well. So now the brick is going to deal a ton of damage whenever it hits you or an enemy. One more thing we want to do is with the damage ID. We're going to make it so that shotguns don't lose damage over distance. And that'll be a pretty simple fix, actually. So when you're looking at the damage ID page on the document, you're going to find that for the distance of the damage multiplier, the tactical 12 gauge and the shotgun have different values than most guns. That's because they lose damage over distance. Every other gun has 3 F8 and then 5 zeros. That means that it just deals the same damage no matter where you hit an enemy, or how far away you are. So we're just going to give both of them these values in order to make it simpler. That way, no matter where you're being hit by the shotgun, it'll deal the same damage. So what we do now is we're going to copy this and put it into HXD. I forgot that this is the very first thing you can change in that area, so we won't need to look it up in the hex calculator. Alright, now that we're here, we can see that this is the damage ID for the shotgun. We're just going to make it, for the 12 gauge I mean, we're just going to make it 3F8000000, which will mean that it does not lose damage over distance. And we're going to do the same for the next weapon, which is the shotgun. So we're going to go to the very next value, which is 2D7FFC. Go to that. 2D7FFC. Here we go. And we're going to make that the same. So you save that, and now the shotguns will maintain their damage over distance. It'll be kind of like the first time. Alright, now that you have TimeSplitters 2 up, you're going to want to load up any map, any mode. I'm just doing deathmatch. We're going to add some guns to the list. So now we can see the silenced pistol has a new name. Gonna give them as the initial weapons. We're going to add the shotgun and the tactical 12 gauge to test how their damage is. Then we're going to also add in the brick. It's not a balanced set, but it's just here to show off how things work. So yeah, there we go. Full auto. Not the most accurate of guns, even with the crosshair active. So I believe I figured out a fix to the issue with the spread still being minimized when aiming. It turns out that the aim flags affect both the primary and secondary fire, and there are two of them. There is the one we saw in the guide, and there's another one that goes unmentioned on the guide. It's equal to 0110, and if you add that in next to the regular ISO value, you'll be able to pull it up with any other gun. So it's a good way to ensure that the primary and secondary fire of a weapon are not affected by accuracy when aiming, or vice versa. So I just wanted to pass that along. That's going to cover today's video. Next time I'm going to look into different things involving character modifications. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. Hope you get something out of this.